In this video, we're going to review the design feature that Framer released lately, and we're going to do a tiny little comparison between Figma and other generative design AI platforms. At the end, we're going to try to make a tennis club website with Framer to see if that's possible to directly and easily design something in Framer. So without further ado, let's see what we have. All right, the first part is dedicated to do a tiny little comparison between Framer and Figma and other, let's say, generative design platforms. And as you can see, this is the whole interface of Framer. And now you can basically click on that plus button and create your design page. And obviously you have a freeform canvas and you can just draw anything and then you can design everything with it. And I should mention that this is the part that is the most interesting for me because the important tools and assets are at the top while we have it on the bottom. On the bottom over that navigation bar, tiny little navigation bar at the bottom. And that's super important because all of those, let's say, design platforms does that. And it's not a copy if we see it in the future in Framer. So it's a conceptual model. And if you don't know what is conceptual model, for example, I've opened up this uxpin.com article and you can see everything about conceptual model. For example, this is a good example that you might already know this. All of those gas station things to do, hotels in a search bar at the top of a let's say map application. And this is something that is a conceptual model to me. Like you know that you have to click on the top to search something, or you have to click on a field. That's basically a conceptual model. And if you want the exact definition, it's a is a representation of a system. It shows how people, places, and things interact. Okay, and all of us know how things work. There's specific things like, for example, searching for a location. You do have two pins. One is for the destination and the other is for where you are right now. And if you read this article, it would very help you to build the stuff with a great UX. In I do have a client project here, which is we do have check-in, check-out, and rooms for at the hero section, as you can see. And we have a button here. So the first platform that did this was Airbnb, and it's now a conceptual model that all of those hotel websites and all of those, let's say, place websites use this pattern as a conceptual model because people know that they can search about something in the hero section. So that's necessary to keep these conceptual models in your website or your application or whatever. Okay, so this button navigation with all of this shape, pen, text, comment, and let's say plugins and frames and mouse cursor is at the bottom, and it's perfect for me as a designer. We just have the upgrade now and comment and hand and cursor and darken light mode on Framer, which is the darken light mode is not necessary. Plus we do have the zoom in and zoom out and let's say plugins. Okay, so I want to see the text frame and vectors inside that tiny little navigation at the bottom. So this is something that is necessary for me as a designer because I've seen a lot of applications and platform with that navigation at the bottom, and they were design tools, like obviously. And the other thing that I should mention is actually we have great teamworks features inside Figma. You can basically click on your teammate profile and follow them across the page. Okay, so that's cool to have it inside Framer. We do have a good common follow-up on Figma, but it's very laggy and buggy inside Framer. And we do have, for example, let's say call, even we can voice call in Figma, and that's super cool. Like if you have Figma Premium, you can basically call your teammate, and the quality is perfect. And that's why I say that these features and let's say abilities, team working abilities are great in Figma, but we don't have a lot of them on Framer. Plus, we do have some asset managing here, which is pretty cool. Like you can manage everything throughout your, let's say, design project. And obviously, now lately, we know that Figma released these sites, and that's a comparison that makes sense. Like we do have sites, Framer built same sites, and they lately released the design space, which is pretty much like the same on Figma. I just want to test it to see if that's possible to directly and easily do this stuff inside Framer. So that's going to be the later. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is you can switch between these spaces. For example, if you want to draw something, if you want to go to the dev mode, design mode, and all of these stuff, it's possible at the bottom navigation. But one thing that you should keep in mind is actually Figma is perfect for a product manager, for a entrepreneur, for a, let's say, a planner, a social media content creator. And it's just special for me. Like you can do all of these stuff inside Figma, but Framer is only for designing websites. Okay. So that's something that you should keep in mind. The user base is heavy and huge in Figma because, uh, as I told you guys, if you're an entrepreneur, you can use Figma, but you cannot use anything of Framer. Like what are you going to do with Framer? Like you cannot. But inside Figma, you can draw something, you can plan, you can make a PDF, you can make a lot of things. And that's the ability that's something that makes it special, actually. And to me, there's no comparison between Framer and Figma because both of these are great in their jobs. The only thing that is comparable, let's say, is actually once we have these sites version alpha up and live running. So maybe we can do a comparison between them at that time, but it's now it doesn't make sense because these two are very different in details. So the other thing that I should mention is actually just the variables in style and exporting inside Figma is much more, let's say, powerful than Framer, and a lot of plugins and assets, and the community is much more like is just rich actually. And Framer is lately launched components in the marketplace, and where you can find interactive components and, let's say, assets. So uh, there's a lot more ways to go on Framer on that specific part. Sorry. And I should mention that the user base and a lot of assets makes Figma something that is unbeatable. Plus, I should mention that Framer released Wireframer, where you can generate, let's say, wireframes directly inside Framer. And with Workshop, you can make it interactive, and you can basically prompt AI to just build a interactive component for you. And that's something that is special, and it makes difference between both lovable and these type of tools where you can tweak everything and you're free to do a lot of changes. You're free to do a lot of customizations, and that's something that is meaningful in while you're designing something. If you're an entrepreneur, you definitely use bolt or lovable to just prompt. But if you're a designer, it doesn't make sense to just do something with lovable and bolt. This is my opinion because you have to tweak a lot and you have to customize a lot. And that's not, let's say, possible with just prompting. Okay. So let's move on to the next part where we want to do a tennis club website to see if that's possible to directly and easily design inside Framer. All right, here we are in the Framer, and actually, let's just close these workshop and wireframers so that we can see all of the layers and panels. So, as you might have seen earlier, I've created this design. So let's just rename it to Monday Club. And we do have access to the layers to the frame that we just created. So let's just give it a meaningful width and height. Let's give it 8,000 height because it might be longer. And the design that I'm doing right now is completely freestyle. So let's just get into it and give it a layout. As we noticed, all of those properties, style, cursor, exporting things, layout, position, and size and alignment is there, and you can just tweak it. And by the way, once you're done with it, you can just right click and create the web page of the designed template. Okay. So that's easy. And that's going to be uh, under the pages where you can publish your website. And it's not published right now. We're going to continue and design the Monday Club website. And after that, we're going to publish it to see if that was a good experience, an easy experience to just design something inside Framer. So I just draw a, let's say, frame here. And if we go to the layers, you can see that everything is treated under the stack rules. So keep in mind that always be a auto layout person and a stack person, and do things inside the stacks and auto layouts. If that's a crazy design, go with absolute positioning. But right now, I do have something simple on my mind. So I'm just going to draw the frame, and I'm going to fast forward to just pick a nice image for the hero section. All right, the image is ready. And what we're going to do is actually, I'm going to give it a layout. So that's because we want to put the navigations and all of the interacting things. So I'm just going to make it to start at the start of the page. And let's just give it a little bit paddings at the top. Let's go with 24 and 24 for the right and 24 for left. I think that's a little bit uh small. Let's just make it 32 and cool, and let's make it fill. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do, I'm just drawing frames and give them layouts, and I put my content inside of it. So keep in mind that everything is like this. Okay, so what we're going to do is actually, I'm going to remove its fill and paste my logo. Perfect. Okay. And let's just give it a layout because we want to make things aligned. And let's just create the navigations. Let's go with club, and let's give it a white color. Perfect. And let's repeat this 4 or 5 times. Perfect. Let's just zoom in. Gallery, contact us, about us, and we don't need that. Okay. And let's wrap them up inside another stack because this is the navigation and it should be separated from all of those layers. Okay. So let's go with navigation. Perfect. And let's give this a stack also. And let's say logo. And this is going to be navigation container. Okay. And yeah, let's call this hero section. And let's go with main for the overall layers. Okay. So as you can see, this is a little bit too much for the logo. So I'm just going to make the width fit content. And yeah, let's place these at the end. And let's go with actually vertical menu. Okay, cool. And yeah, 10 pixel. Let's go with 12 pixel because it's more common. And what we're going to do is actually, I'm going to put something here to just put the text here to just, let's say, enter my hero section text. And let's say start the gym at Mondays. That's what we're going to do. We all do that on Mondays, and it's never happening. Okay, so let's go with, let's say 80 pixel font size, and let's make it fixed because we want that to be, yeah, we don't want it on a one line. Okay, cool. Let's bring the navigation up top and let's make the hero section to be vertically aligned. And it should be the distribute should be at the start so that everything starts from the top. Okay, so let's give this a stack. Perfect. And let's make it start so that it starts at the left because it's horizontal. So our hero section was vertical because and the distribute option starts at the top. If that's horizontal, it's going to be starting at the left. Okay, if you don't know what is these kind of rules, it's maybe you're a beginner with designing in Framer, or let's say making something in Framer. Make sure to learn some of those rules and then follow up again in this video. And perfect. Let's just tweak the letter and lining a little bit. Perfect. The lettering needs to be something like this. Cool. It's just looking good. And let's make the height to be filled. All right. Let's repeat this once again because we need a, let's say, subtitle here. And let's say the font size needs to be 22. Cool. And let's say at Monday Club, we have a lot of assets and a nice, fun tennis club to just exercise. That's it. Perfect. And what we need to do is actually, let's make this vertical and let's give it the alignment to be at the start. And yep, cool. We need a little fade out frame. So I'm just going to draw another frame here. And yep, let's make it fill. Perfect. And it should be absolute actually. So let's manually change the size and let's go with a nice black gradient. 0101, 0101. Perfect. And let's make the top color to 0 opacity so that we have a nice fade out layer here. And what we're going to do is actually, I'm going to tweak the distribute of this layer so that all of those texts are going to be at the bottom. And let's give this a 0 Z index and let's go with 1 Z index on the text layer so that it appears over the background that we just created, the fade-in background that we just created. So, and what we're going to do is actually, I need a little bit padding at the bottom to just bring the text up. Let's go with 50. That's cool. Okay. And what else do we need? Yeah, perfect. I'm going to draw another frame here to just make multiple grids. Perfect. Let's put them inside a stack and let's make them horizontal. And all of these needs to be filled with the parent container. All right. Okay. And let's duplicate this so that we have a nice grid. And what we're going to do is actually, I'm going to wrap them up once again inside another stack because we need a container to just rule the padding and overall spacing and alignment. Okay. So let's wrap them up inside another stack and make it fill. Oops, make it fill. And let's go with, let's say 32 at the left and 32 at the right. Perfect. Okay. So these are fixed. Let's make them fill and cool. Perfect. Now we have a nice grid and we obviously need a 50 padding for top. All right. And this is not aligned with the left and right. So let's just make that one to be 50 at the right and left. I'm just freestyling here. Don't, yeah, don't correct my mistakes. So perfect. I'm going to fast forward and upload some images on the grids and we'll get back to the template soon. All right. Okay. I uploaded the images. So what we're going to do is actually, I'm going to remove this fill And by the way, let's make the main container color to be somewhere around very subtle green so that we can see the white backgrounds. And nice. Okay, let's just copy the hero section text and yeah, cool. Let's wrap them up inside another stack so that it's fit content. Let's put it here and make it yeah, let's first of all we need to assign a layout to the overall content, to the overall container, sorry. And let's make this fill. Perfect. And these two needs to be filled also. Okay. What we're going to do is actually the colors are white so that we don't see the text. I'm just gonna select them one by one and yeah, 24 pixel, let's say 32 pixel for the headline. Let's make it medium. Perfect. And this one needs to be 18 pixel, let's say. Okay, cool. And a little bit padding at the right and left, 32, 32, perfect. Okay. And now let's just make it to stay at the end and let's give the bottom padding to somewhere around 32, perfect. And what we're going to do is actually, I'm just going to copy this and paste it here and paste it here. Okay. I'm just going to change the titles to something like tennis club at Monday. We love to see beautiful people and cool. Yeah. All right. We do have this, but it feels a little bit dull. So I'm just going to draw some frames at the top here so that it replicates, let's say, an owl. So yeah, let's make it absolute and repeat this multiple times. Yeah, perfect. Okay, and let's wrap them up inside another stack so that's easy to manage them better. Oh, it says slow connection editing is disabled. All right, cool. So perfect. Let's make them to stay here and nice. Okay, cool. We need this to be aligned with the first one. So I'm just going to use those alignment options and let's change the position of this. Perfect. And all of them needs to be black. So it matches with the overall style and look of the template. And cool. Yep. Let's wrap them up inside a frame. And let's say that it should be absolute. So perfect. Okay, and let's just manually change the position and let's say somewhere around here. Perfect. Let's just copy the frame, the container frame, and paste it on all of the text grids. Okay, so I need a CTA, let's say section. So I'm just gonna draw another frame here. And yeah, once again, I'm going to fast forward and pick a nice image here. All right, we do have the image and now let's just give it a layout and draw some text. Let's say start your gym, or let's just copy from the hero section text and put it just right away into the CTA section. Okay, cool. And let's make them to stay at the center. Let's make the text center. Let's make the subtitle text at the center. Perfect. And what we need to do is actually we need a button here. So I'm just gonna, 54 is a lot for a button. Let's just make it 46 and let's make it white. Okay, cool. And what we need to do is actually I need to put this inside the frame, the main frame. Now let's just draw something into that button frame. Let's say start now. And let's make the text a little bit bolder. Okay, cool. And let's make it center. Actually, let's just give it a layout. And let's just draw something here for grabbing the attention. Let's make it horizontal. All right, let's make it white. Perfect. Okay. And now we do have the CTA section. So we're just gonna wrap it up inside another stack because yeah, I need to tweak the padding and spacing it a little bit. So I'm just gonna put 50 for the top and 50 for the bottom. And cool. I guess we're good to go. It's just fixed. So let's make it fill. And let's go with 32. Well, let's 50 and 50 for the left and right. Perfect. Okay. And now we just need the footer. So let's go with the same logo and just draw another frame here to just do the footer. All right, cool. And let's just paste this. We want the footer to be transparent. And I don't know if that's possible to just change. Yeah, it seems that it's possible. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Let's just go with one by one, selecting the layers of the, let's say, Swiji of Monday Club logo. And yeah, I I just set black color to the Monday Club, so that's cool that we can edit vectors and all of this stuff. Perfect. And let's just copy the navigation and just put it, let's give it a layout. And yeah, we just copied the navigation that we just created before. And let's make them black. And we also need another one. So I'm just going to say footer navigation. I would say footer navigation. All right. And I'm going to copy the same name and put it here. And let's wrap them up inside another stack so that we have a nice container. Okay, cool. And these needs to be, for example, this one needs to be fit content. And the first one is okay to be filled because it holds the space to just push the Monday Club at the left. And what we're going to do is actually, I'm just going to make the whole, let's say, container of the footer navigation container. That's it. All right, to be filled. And the overall stack, I think, yeah, this one needs to be inside another stack also. So yeah, and let's make it fit content and perfect. And let's make the overall stack to be filled. And as we set for all of them, let's make it 50 at the left and 50 at the right padding. Okay, cool. And what we're going to do is actually, this is not cool to have it at the center. So that's cool to have it, yeah, at the end. So that it fits with what we have done before. And let's make this let's say club. We do have club. Okay. Assets, company, and let's go with privacy and terms and conditions. This is free stock, guys. It's obviously, these are just dummy datas. So, and let's make it to, yeah, start at the start. Perfect. And I guess we just need another text right below all of the items to just, write the copyright text. So I'm just gonna, yeah, perfect. We copied the privacy and let's just write 2025 at copyrights reserved. Perfect. And yeah, nice. Let's wrap them up inside another stack and let's call it container. And let's make the overall stack to be vertical. Okay, obviously we need to tweak again the distribution and all of these stuff. Perfect. The container that we just created is not fill. So I'm just gonna, yeah, perfect. Space thing separates everything into these spaces. So that's cool to just leave the 2025 copyrights reserved there. All right. And obviously this needs to be fit content. And also we're going to do the same for the main to be fit content. And as you can see, the template is ready and it was pretty easy to design something in Framer. And you can just use Workshop or Wireframer Workshop for making interactive components. And that's super easy. Like you just need to comment and prompt. That's never been easier than what this is right now. And you can just create some, generative wireframes with wireframers and kickstart your template. So this is what I did, just manually design, and that was pretty much easy to do a website, let's say, design inside Framer. And as you guys see, you just draw frames and put the text and set the alignments and layouts. So that's cool to see this inside Framer. So what we're going to do is actually, I'm going to select the main layer and create web page out of it. And as you can see, it's under the pages, and we just need to publish it and we can see it live on internet. Okay, perfect. I'm just going to click on the link. And as you can see, my network is a little bit sluggish, but yeah, it's now perfectly live and running on internet. And this is not optimized. Obviously, we need to do a lot of things to make it optimized. For example, the images are very large. I just picked them from the, what's it called, on a splash. And as you can see, the result is pretty good. And we can do all of those design things inside Framer now. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Peace.